13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
You're going to need the coat this morning. It is a cold and quiet start, but if you want some warmer weather, it looks like December has that to offer. I'll have those details for you coming up.
Plus, voters in Warner Robins now less than an hour away from electing the city's next mayor. What you need to know if you are heading to the polls this morning.
And funding for a new recycling plant under discussion in Bibb County. Why some people say they're opposed to the project.
With deals scattered all across the internet, we want to make sure you're not giving your hard-earned money to scammers. Tips from the Better Business Bureau as you complete all your holiday shopping. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. You are looking live over a beautiful start to the day in downtown Macon. Time is now 6:30 on this last day of November. I'm Caitlin Heck.
And I'm Wanye Reese, just coming back from Charleston, South Carolina, and the weather was beautiful, even though it was cold in the morning. I didn't have ice on my windshield, but I tell you, this morning when I woke up, I said, I'm back in Macon.
Yeah, that ice is right back for you.
That's right. It's our little welcome back gift to you, Wanye. That's all. All right, everyone, good morning. Yes, you are going to want to give yourself a few extra minutes. I imagine a lot of your windshields, if you're not parked in the garage, are going to have frost on them because take a look at the temperatures. We're quite literally freezing this morning. 29 in the city of Macon. Area wide, we're in the upper 20s and low 30s. 30 in Warner Robins, 32 in Gordon and in Unadilla. We're at 28 in Wrightsville, 29 in Sandersville, and 28 in Dublin. So upper 20s, low 30s for all of us to kick off the day. It is a good bit cooler, noticeably cooler at that, anywhere between, it looks like 5 to upwards of 10 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. It takes a little while for that cold air behind those cold fronts to really settle in, and it definitely did this morning. Through the afternoon, we'll see another round of sunshine, though. It's going to be beautiful. We'll be in the upper 50s by lunchtime to send you home in the low 60s, and we'll top out in the mid 60s between noon and 5 o'clock. Now, if you want some 70s, looks like we have plenty of those on the way for the 7-day forecast. I'll have all those details in a few minutes.
Thank you, Courtney. In less than half an hour now, voters in Warner Robins head to the ballot box to cast their votes for the next leader of the international city. On
the ballot is incumbent Mayor Randy Toms, who's seeking a third term as mayor, and challenger LaRonda Patrick, who currently works as the city attorney for Fort Valley. Up until this point, both candidates have tried to sway undecided voters by addressing a number of topics. One hot button issue, crime. In an ad for Tom's campaign, he uses a clip from a forum where he says Patrick wants to defund the police. She says that is not true.
I think the answer is more police officers, and apparently my opponent thinks it's not the answer. So that's pretty much. I mean, I think you could make the argument. Does that mean defund the police?
I was going to ask you that.
It actually does.
I said, some people say more police officers is the answer. I don't believe that is so. I move on to explain what I mean. So the issue is, our crime is on the rise. How do we fix crime from being committed at that large rate?
Now you can hear about other topics each candidate plans to address if elected on 13WMAZ.com. Now, if you're heading to the polls today, here are some things that you'll want to keep in mind. First, don't forget a valid photo ID. It's also important to make sure you know your polling location. You can check that online through the My Voter page on the Georgia Secretary of State's website or by calling your county's Board of Registrar's office. You can vote anytime between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and as long as you're in line by 7 this evening, you can still vote.
Now, if you are voting absentee, those ballots must be in by 7 tonight. Drop boxes are no longer available, so you'll have to hand deliver them. And if you have a physical disability or you're 75 or older, you don't have to wait in line to vote. A poll worker will help you when you get there.
We're also watching a big runoff race for the mayor in the city of Atlanta. Atlanta City Council members Felicia Moore and Andre Dickens are facing off to take Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom's seat. She chose not to run again. Now, Moore beat Dickens by 18% in the November 2nd elections, but about 40% of the votes were split among other candidates. In their last push to get those votes yesterday, both candidates say they're confident that they would become the 61st mayor of the city of Atlanta.
Now, as we get ready for this big election day, we're learning more about what happened to some absentee ballots during the voting period earlier this month. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports more than half of the applications for absentee ballots got rejected statewide. It's because they came in after an 11-day deadline set in Georgia's new election law. The law also limited absentee voting by restricting drop boxes and requiring voters to prove they had a driver's license or other state identification when applying.
Now, don't forget your election guide is still active right now. That's on our website at 13WMAZ.com. There you'll find polling times and locations, absentee ballot instructions, and hear from the Warner Robins mayoral candidates. Just type in "What to Know 2021 Central Georgia Elections" in the search bar. It's going to be the first story that pops up for you.
Moving on now to 3 things you should know. The FBI and Warner Robins are now offering up to $5,000 for any information on the person who robbed a credit union and shot a teller.
The robbery and shooting happened last Monday after a home invasion on West Imperial Circle. Police Chief John Wagner says this man right here on your screen walked into the Robins Financial Credit Union on North Houston Road and demanded money. He tried to jump the counter when the gun went off, hitting one of the tellers. Authorities say the man drove off in a 2008 Nissan Sentra stolen from the home on Imperial Circle. They later found that vehicle. Now, if you know the man or if you have any information on his whereabouts, you should call the FBI. That number at the bottom of your screen. It's 478-745-1271. Again, that number for you. It's 478-745-1271.
And we now know the driver killed in a wrong-way crash on I-16 near Dublin. It happened Thanksgiving night. Georgia State Patrol says 76-year-old Jana Allagood was going west on an eastbound lane of I-16 when she hit 56-year-old Muhammad Karj's car head-on. Karj died at the scene. Medics airlifted Allagood to the hospital. GSP says charges are still pending against Allagood and the accident is still under investigation.
City leaders discussed the IRS's tax lien against the city in a news conference yesterday in Warner Robins. City Administrator David Corbin says the city does not owe back taxes and the liens would not affect the city's bond rating. City records show Warner Robins already paid more than $420,000 to the IRS for failure to file proper records. The federal agency wants them to pay another $370,000. Corbin said he, Mayor Randy Thompson, and City Council were aware of the tax problems, but decided not to go public with the news.
Well, the world's largest advanced plastics recycling and renewal facility could be coming to Macon, but before that happens, the Industrial Authority may have to authorize a pretty hefty loan.
Yesterday, the authority held a public hearing on whether they should authorize up to $500 million in revenue bonds for the project. They say the money will go toward construction of the facility on Walden Road in South Macon. Under federal law, there has to be a government issuer for this type of bond, which in this case would be the Industrial Authority. They'll issue the bonds on Brightmark's behalf. But let's just be clear, the Industrial Authority isn't on the hook for the bonds.
Both the authority and Brightmark say the debt is 100% the company's responsibility if that loan is approved. Out of the dozens who spoke at that public hearing yesterday, all except one spoke out against the deal and the company's move to Macon.
They can't push it through. We have got to have an environmental impact study to see how this is going to affect everybody involved, the wildlife, our rivers, the state of Georgia, and we just think it's only fair for $500 million of bond money to go out without any study by the people. We just think we deserve a voice.
We are solving problems, not creating them. And so I think that, it sounded like people were more in information gathering mode.
Much of the conversation in that hearing focused on concerns about air quality and other environmental impacts from the plant. Brightmark CEO says the facility doesn't incinerate plastics and that their emissions will be minimal, comparing it to the size of a medium-sized hospital.
Now, Brightmark says it plans to invest more than $680 million into the Macon plant. The site will sustainably recycle all plastic waste that can no longer be recycled, like plastic film, styrofoam, or even plastic drinking cups. All right, time is now 6:38. I still have all my Christmas bins in my garage, and so I've had to park outside this week.
Oh, no.
I picked the wrong week to do that.
Oh, yeah, you did.
But it's
been
worth
real
it
cold.
because your Christmas decoration, you and Courtney's,
Yep.
they're beautiful, but we are working on something special in the Reese household, so I have to
Yes.
show y'all one day.
I can't wait to see. Yes, the fiance, your house is going to look like
gonna look
Christmas
great.
exploded.
She's going to do it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever
as
she
you
wants.
should. As you should for Christmas time. Yeah, you have to be a little bit extra this time of year. My house is all like shiny and sparkly and red and silver. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. The outside still needs a little bit of work though, so we're going to get there. Those lights should go up hopefully today, including, yes, all of you who have followed me through my outside light journey. The saga of the inflatable dog continues. Y'all know we talked about it yesterday, how I feel about those Christmas inflatables. Oh boy. All right, everybody. Well, today, not only the end of November, but also the end of the 2021 hurricane season. All right, we're glad for that. Now, it was a very active season, just as the Hurricane Center predicted. Notice we had 21 named storms. That includes tropical storms, and that was what they forecasted, 15 to 21. Now, hurricanes, that's category 1 and 2, only 3. Now, I say only lightly. And then, of course, major hurricanes, that was pretty much right on par with 4. Now, we did get a good piece of quite a few of those storms, but a lot of those systems, thankfully, really this year, for a lot of the East Coast, especially, not necessarily the Gulf, of course, but the East Coast, very, very lucky. A lot of those storms did, of course, curve out to sea. We talked about that a lot. So we'll be thankful to see hurricane season go and thankful to see a beautiful sunrise to start the day. Take a look at this. You're looking live on top of the Fred Roberts in Dublin. A beautiful morning out there. Just a glowing start. I love when you see those deep red colors in the sunrise. It's cold out there, though, so don't let that start fool you. 28 right now in the city of Dublin. And 28 is not a hard number to find. We're in the upper 20s in a lot of spots. We're at 28 in Wrightsville as well, 29 in Sandersville, 32 in Milledgeville, 29 in Macon, 30 in Warner Robins, 33 in Montezuma, and 32 if you're waking up with us in Thomaston. So most of us, if not pretty much all of us, are at or below freezing for the start of the day. Be sure that you are bundling up. Temperatures today in the mid-60s as we head through the afternoon. It's just going to take a little while to get there. Notice we'll be in near 40 by 9 o'clock, so it's a very gradual warming trend. And then we'll head into the 50s by around 11. Through the overnight, we keep our warming trend going, so our mornings won't be quite as frigid. Tomorrow morning, we wake up in the upper 30s, maybe a few of us in the mid 30s as well, with mostly clear skies. As we head into tomorrow, wind comes out of the southwest. That's going to really kick off a warming trend just in time for the start of December. We'll head near 70 for the day tomorrow. Now, here is why. High pressure, of course, still going to dominate the forecast. That leaves us with really beautiful sunny skies for the most part, as high pressure is that sinking air. So when air sinks, it warms, but it also is going to keep us nice and sunny. Now, as high pressure starts to push off the coast slightly, we're going to have wind come out of the southwest as it wraps around this area of high pressure at the surface. That's going to pull in a warmer air mass off the Gulf of Mexico. At the same time, I know it's hard to see, there's a red line here. That's a warm front, so we'll technically be underneath that, and that's really going to help aid in that warming trend as we go through the rest of the week. Now, unfortunately, the trailing cold front not going to move through the area, so we're going to stay pretty warm even through the weekend, but who can complain about sunshine and 70s for the weekend, even though it is going to be December. Your 7-day looks like this: mid to upper 60s the next couple of days with cold mornings. We'll be in the 40s for the overnight lows Thursday through Sunday with highs in the 70s. Our next rain chance comes next Monday.